If you want to say I was, in Spanish, I was, we say estaba. Estaba. Estaba, I was. Estaba. So what do you think it means if I said estaba en Madrid? Estaba en Madrid. I was in Madrid. Estaba en Madrid. I was in Madrid. And if you want to say I wasn't, in fact, any negative in Spanish, you put no at the beginning. No, N-O at the beginning. How would you say, I wasn't in Madrid? I wasn't in Madrid. What would that be? No estaba en Madrid. No estaba en Madrid. No estaba en Madrid. To say at home in Spanish, at home, they say in house. En casa. En casa, in house. At home. So how would you say, I wasn't at home, I was in Madrid? What would that be? No estaba en casa. Estaba en Madrid. No estaba en casa. I wasn't at home. Estaba en Madrid. I was in Madrid. The word for ill in Spanish is quite easy to remember because it's similar to an English word, infirm. So in Spanish it's enfermo. Enfermo is ill. Enfermo. How would you say, I was ill? I was ill. What would that be? Estaba enfermo. Estaba enfermo. And if you are feminine, if it's a girl that's saying, or a woman that's saying, I was ill, the enfermo, ending in O, has to change to enferma to become feminine. So enferma is ill if it's referring to a woman or a girl. So how would a woman say, I wasn't ill? How would she say, I wasn't ill? No estaba enfermo. No estaba enfermo. And as we're talking about the past, let's add in a past phrase or a past word. To say yesterday, it's ayer. Ayer. A-Y-E-R. Ayer. Yesterday. How would a woman say, I was ill yesterday? I was ill yesterday. What would that be if a woman was saying that? Estaba enferma ayer. Estaba enferma ayer. And what would it be if we changed it around? Same words, but said, yesterday I was ill. So just starting with yesterday. Yesterday I was ill. And let's have a man saying it this time. What would that be? Ayer estaba enfermo. Ayer estaba enfermo. How about extending it and saying, yesterday I was ill, I was at home. Yesterday I was ill, I was at home. What would that be? Ayer estaba enfermo. Estaba en casa. Ayer estaba enfermo. Estaba en casa. Okay, 2 new words. We're going to learn to say busy and worried. busy and worried. Ocupado, preocupado. Ocupado, preocupado. So let's see if we can guess which one is which. Ocupado, do you think that is busy or worried? And it's busy because it's being occupied. And preocupado is then worried, like preoccupied. So ocupado and preocupado. How would you say? I was busy yesterday. I was busy yesterday. What would that be? Estaba ocupado ayer. Estaba ocupado ayer. How would we say, I wasn't worried? I wasn't worried. And let's say it's a woman saying that. I wasn't worried. What would that be? No estaba preocupado. No estaba preocupado. Now the useful thing about estaba, I was, it also means he, she was. So we get 3 for the price of 1. So she was estaba. He was estaba. And the reason we know who's talking is because of context, and often a name might be mentioned. But although it might seem like you could get confused, you don't tend to, as I say, because of the context, because of what the conversation's about. So, how would we say she was in Madrid? She was in Madrid yesterday. What would that be? She was in Madrid yesterday. Estaba en Madrid ayer. Estaba en Madrid ayer. And I asked for she was in Madrid yesterday, but actually estaba en Madrid ayer also means he was in Madrid yesterday, and it also means I was in Madrid yesterday. So just if you saw that sentence written down, there would be no way of knowing who it's referring to. So let's add in a name and say Maria was in Madrid yesterday. What would that be? María estaba en Madrid ayer. María estaba en Madrid ayer. How would we say Maria was busy? Maria was busy. What would that be? And remember, because she's feminine, we're going to change something at the end. So she was busy. What would that be? Sorry, Maria was busy. María estaba ocupada. María estaba ocupada. And how about Pablo wasn't in Madrid yesterday. He was ill at home. So Pablo wasn't in Madrid yesterday. He was ill at home. What would that be? Pablo no estaba en Madrid ayer. Estaba enfermo en casa. Pablo no estaba en Madrid ayer. Estaba enfermo en casa. Okay, so estaba, I was, but also he was and she was. For you were, we don't say you was, you were, it's nice and easy, we just add the letter S. And all versions of you in Spanish have the letter S in them in some form or another. So, you were is estabas. Estabas. Just add an S. Estabas. You were. And that's also the question. Were you? Estabas. You were. Estabas. So how would you say? You were worried. You were worried. What would that be? Estabas preocupado. Estabas preocupado. You were worried. How about you weren't busy yesterday? You weren't busy yesterday. And you're talking to a woman. You weren't busy yesterday. What would that be? No estabas ocupada ayer. No estabas ocupada ayer. You weren't busy yesterday. And how about, we'll make it a question, exactly the same. How would we say, were you at home yesterday? Were you at home yesterday? What would that be? ¿Estabas en casa ayer? ¿Estabas en casa ayer? The word for where in Spanish is ¿dónde? 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 Where is ¿dónde? So how would you say, just two words, where were you? Where were you? What would that be? ¿Dónde estabas? ¿Dónde estabas? And let's extend it to, where were you yesterday? Where were you yesterday? What would that be? ¿Dónde estabas ayer? ¿Dónde estabas ayer? Where were you yesterday? ¿Dónde estabas ayer? And how would we ask, where was Pablo yesterday? Where was Pablo yesterday? What would that be? ¿Dónde estaba Pablo ayer? ¿Dónde estaba Pablo ayer?